if you are interested in learning more about Waco Town or Magnolia Silos or the town that made Magnolia what it is, stay tuned to this video to know what it's truly like to live in the city of Waco, Texas, the pros, the cons, the good, and the bad. Stay tuned because we're going to be talking about that today. My name is McShan, and I serve as a licensed real estate agent in the state of Texas, and I also happen to be very familiar with Waco and live in the Waco area. And with that in mind, I just want to tell you all about my experience in Waco and what it's truly like to live in the city of Waco. So, when we talk about Waco, Waco has a unique history. I'll say that. To make a long story short, I am actually from Shreveport, Louisiana, and before moving to Waco, Texas, I actually lived in Louisville, Kentucky. And the first thing that my grandmother said to me when I told her that I was moving to Waco, she was like, "Ain't that what David Koresh from, them Waco Siege people?" And I was very clueless because I was caught off guard because I was not alive during the Waco siege. But that's just one piece of history in Waco that has left a little scar. If you are interested and you want to learn more about the Waco siege, the Branch Davidians, or David Koresh, there is actually a Netflix documentary that you can watch. It's contested a little bit, but I think you'll get the gist from watching that. So starting off as a con, I think Waco has a history that may not necessarily be the most positive. Now, granted, I think now in today's time, Waco may be known as more Magnolia Town due to the popularity that's been brought to the area due to Chip and Joanna and the Magnolia Silos, the Magnolia Market, and so many other pieces that all started with their show, Fixer Upper. But with that in mind, I will say that Waco is definitely not the place that it used to be, and it's definitely grown in significant ways and just really bringing a lot of different pieces of a larger city into a small city, which I would consider one of the pros of Waco, Texas. It is mid-size, so it's not too large, not too small. You actually do have things. You have things to do. You have axe throwing. You have recreational activities. You also have Top Golf, because Top Golf does not go anywhere. So, although it's recent, Waco, Texas has a Top Golf. So, hey, add that to the list. So I will say I do feel that Waco has a really good balance of things while also keeping it pretty small. You don't necessarily have to deal with a lot of traffic and like driving very far distances for commutes and so forth. So I consider that a pro. You can pretty much get it anywhere in Waco within 20 minutes. Now, granted, we have some construction going on I-35 that will make you want to say some things that you may not want your mother to hear. But, hey, that's temporary. So once it's done, all will be well. And the heart of Texas will be great, just like it was previously. Well, I don't know. I wouldn't say all that. The heart of Texas will be greater. I'll say that. Other pieces, when you think about cons, is allergies and pollen. Now, I am not necessarily a person that always has seasonal allergies, and I've lived in quite a few places, but there is something about this Texas pollen. I don't know if it is the bluebonnets. I do not know if it is the sunflowers, but whatever it is, it will get in here and it will tear you up. So I don't know if that is the experience for everybody, but I definitely know myself and for many others that I know, the season of spring is a rough time for many people in the state of Texas. So if you do not use Zyrtec, I never used to really have to take allergy pills, but like now that I'm in the state of Texas, like I have to keep them on hand for whenever the spring comes because it is atrocious. So get your pink pills because you may need them. If you're interested in moving to Texas and you have any type of allergy or sinus challenges or typically react in a unique way, it's rough. Now, they do say, I haven't tried it, some about the local honey is supposed to handle it. But I love all the natural remedies. I haven't tried it yet, but hey, if you're out here and you want a solution, get some local Texas honey. But with that in mind, I will say I love the weather in Texas and Waco in particular. And that's both weather and natural disasters because Waco, we're not necessarily prone to earthquakes. Now, there is a history of tornadoes, but it's been quite a while since the last Waco tornado. So otherwise, we have a warm climate, and it is hot. So if you don't like warm, it may not be the place for you. But we pretty much have the seasons of hot, hotter, and cool. winter being cool. Like, it may be 85 degrees on Christmas, but come January, February, you may get into the 30s a couple of days. Or like this past year or in a few years recently, we had Snowmageddon that really kind of shut down the state of Texas, and it was a terrible time. Didn't have power or electricity, water, anything for like 5 days. But that's neither here nor there, because it doesn't happen. That doesn't happen often. But I will say that I love the weather in the state of Texas, and I love the weather in Waco. So that is a pro for me. But most importantly, I think access is one of the biggest benefits and pros to Waco, because you have access to so many cities across the state of Texas. So in less than 3 hours, you can actually get to San Antonio, Dallas, Austin, Houston, all of these major cities that are known and so many people come to visit, or you may have family and friends. You can get to all these places in less than 3 hours, which I really love. And more importantly, when you think about traffic, because for some people that may not drive, they may think that 3 hours or 2 hours is long, 2.5 hours. But for many of these locations, you can also get there in like an hour and a half. And I also know people specifically in Dallas and Austin that tell me that they drive an hour or more daily, one way to get to work. So that's their commute. So I would much rather live in the smaller, mid-sized town of Waco, Texas. And when I want to step out on the weekend or anything like that, I can always go visit them on the weekends. Now, with that in mind, as a con, Waco is not the place if you're trying to turn up. If you're trying to get litty, if you're trying to do anything similar to it, I would not recommend you stop in Waco, Texas. It is not necessarily a place for nightlife. However, you have easy access to places. So for me, that works well for me when I do want to step out, because otherwise I'm a homebody. But when I do want to step out, I'm able to go out and connect with my friends and family in other locations, and I enjoy it in that way. But with that in mind, Waco is super family oriented. So when you're looking for like family friendly things to do, there is a long laundry list of things that you can do, whether that be recreational pieces or hitting the Brazos River and being able to go canoeing and kayaking, or hitting some hikes and trails at Cameron Park, which Cameron Park apparently is like one of the largest parks inside of a suburban or city area outside of Central Park in New York. That's what I was told when I moved to Waco, so I'm not sure how factual that is. So feel free to fact check me and let me know in the comments if that is true. But that's what I was told. And the Cameron Park Zoo is actually super impressive. Like, I definitely did not expect the zoo in Waco to be so phenomenal. So all of these different things really add to a unique experience when it comes to family experiences in Waco. Waco X Company, Top Golf. It's a lot of things and a lot of different restaurants to also go to. So in that regard, I give Waco a pro for being family friendly and really having unique things to do with your family while you're here. Otherwise, as you think about the cost of living is a really attracts a lot of people to Waco, especially many folks that may be living in other areas of the country. Because when you compare the cost of living in Waco, it is significantly less expensive than most of America, especially the people in California. So if you're from California and you're watching this video and you're thinking about moving to Texas, I can tell you this, it is a different world. However, don't tell anybody necessarily, unless you're kind of cool, that you're from California, because you're Californiaing our Texas. I don't mind it because I'm a real estate agent. So I serve and I help people, whoever, if you're looking to sell a home or you're looking to buy your home, I'll help you. However, there are many people that are not a fan of people that are moving from California. That also typically drives the price up. So even though Waco, Texas is very affordable when you consider the larger landscape of the United States, it used to be significantly more affordable. But as more people are attracted here, as we get more attention from the Magnolia Market and Chip and Joanna, Baylor University, Baylor Scott and White Hospital, and just being centrally located, as people are more and more attracted to working from home after COVID-19, all of these things are leading to an influx of interest and buyers and so forth in the Waco area. So the price is going up. So even though it is still very affordable, the price is definitely going up. If you're interested in a particular video where we break down what the cost of living is in Waco now versus what it used to be, drop a comment and let me know. If that's something of interest, I'd be more than happy to create some content and push that out to you all as well. But I will say that is a concern. Now, when it comes to opportunities to connect with the art scene, I love Waco because Waco is this diverse place that, again, is also centrally located. But like creative Waco and just like there's just so many people where I feel like you have this unique art scene that comes together. And I feel like it's not so saturated to where you get washed out or you get consumed. So like if you are a person and you want to go kill it at open mic night, like there are opportunities and like I think there are many artists that if they come to Waco, like the opportunity may be there versus some other cities where there's just so much competition, or there's just so much activity and so forth that it's very hard to kind of make yourself shine or have the opportunity to shine. So I love that about Waco, whether it's graffiti and street art or that is contemporary art. I love going to Cultivate 12, which is an art museum in downtown Waco. So there's just really a lot of opportunities to connect and engage as an artist in Waco, or if you're an art fan, to consume art in Waco. And that for me is definitely a pro. If you are interested in actually coming out for a weekend or something, I would definitely recommend coming out on First Fridays, because First Fridays are days where we have art exhibits and just a lot of deals and so forth around the downtown area. And also another popular time is to come on Sundays, the third Sunday in particular, where you can go and visit the Eastside Market. Eastside Market highlights vendors, artisans, art creators. They typically have some live graffiti art or some type of art exhibit there. So you actually get to see this piece being created while you're there, connecting and engaging with family and friends, checking out vendors. And it's also a great opportunity to connect and support local businesses. So again, I think Waco is really strong in that regard of just building community and really supporting local businesses. Also on Sundays, drop by the Food Box Waco, because the Food Box Waco is a food truck right outside of I was about to say Rocco's, outside of Rock My Style Barbershop with Rocco the Barber. Shout out to Rocco the Barber. But the food truck Waco is fire. They have these like huge little, I mean, they're not really little, but they have these huge pineapples that are stuffed with chicken or whatever. And it is like, I mean, it just get all up in your soul and your spirit. But I would definitely recommend Food Box Waco. They also have great jerk wings. So get the jerk wings too. But overall, I like Waco, and I think these are just some things to think about as you are considering Waco, Texas. The last con on the list is property taxes. We do not necessarily have, or we don't have, state income taxes in the state of Texas, or local or county taxes that come out of your income. So if you're a W-2 employee, you only pay your federal benefits or whatever, and that's it, which is great. So I like it because you can definitely see a difference in your income. However, you most definitely pay for it if you are a homeowner, because it is shown on your property taxes. So Texas is definitely one of the states that has one of the highest property taxes, especially for me, because I'm from Louisiana, where the property taxes are like the fifth or like the five lowest states in America. So property taxes are very inexpensive in Louisiana compared to Texas. But we also have income tax. So I think there's just some trade-offs, but that is something to be mindful of, especially if you are considering buying in Texas. Do not be shocked if you're like, wow, my property taxes here. You're in Texas and everything is bigger in Texas, including your property taxes. So just be prepared for that. Be mindful for it and just set your expectations appropriately. But I will say that one of the great things about in Texas, your property taxes are pretty localized. So they do not necessarily go to the state. So they go to your local community, and most of it actually goes to the school district in which your neighborhood or your home is in. So you actually do see your money a bit more. It goes to the roads that you drive on, to the schools that your kids or your future kids or your kids that are now grown that they went to. And now you're paying for your neighbor's kids. But hey, that's part of the process. That's why we have property taxes. So at least I do feel as though you do get to see the value of your investment in your local community, which is great. So with that in mind, if you have more questions about Waco, Texas, pros, cons, or if there's anything that I left out, feel free to drop those in the comments and let me know if you're interested in more content. And if you are interested or you're in the market to purchase or sell a home, feel free to give me or my team a call. I'll drop our contact information in the comments and in the whatever that section is below. But thank you all for tuning in. And if you made it to the end of this video, drop a comment with hashtag #EndGameCrew because you all made it to the end. And thank you all so much for tuning in. It's dmac the Realtor. Feel free to follow me on social media at dmac_the Realtor. And remember, be kind, be humble, and most importantly, be you. Peace out, you all. dmac the Realtor out.